Richard Gere stars in tonight's movie. Breathless is on Central after the news.
From the studios of ITN, the news and sport with Dennis Toohey.
Hello, welcome to the programme. The headlines. Ulster peace threatened after top Loyalist is murdered in a maze. And it's spend, spend, spend as millions head for the sales. Sporadic violence flared in Northern Ireland tonight as a Loyalist terrorist organisation pledged to avenge the murder of its leader. Billy Wright, nicknamed King Rat, was shot dead inside the top security Maze prison. 3 Republican inmates are being questioned. The Northern Ireland Secretary Mo Mowlam has appealed for calm, urging people to think and think again before they do anything. From Belfast, Howell Jones reports.
Tonight in Billy Wright's hometown of Portadown, cars have been hijacked and burned as his supporters mark the passing of one of the province's most ruthless terrorists. Billy Wright was shot dead as he sat in this prison van. As it was taken away from the maze, the bullet holes were still visible. The shooting happened in H Block 6, where Republican and Loyalist prisoners are held in different wings. Billy Wright was in the back of the van, ready for transfer to the visitors centre. The gunmen, members of the INLA, jumped over this roof from the exercise yard, opened the back doors of the van and shot Wright in the back 5 times. Then they climbed back into the exercise yard. Billy Wright had long been the Republicans' top target, and his opposition to the peace process won him enemies among Loyalists too. Interviewed last year, he spoke of his life as a perpetual target.
I have survived numerous murder attacks by the IRA, and I've had the RUC with me even throughout this process on at least 4 occasions to tell me that the NLA were going to murder me and to tell me that the Provisional IRA were going to murder me. And I have always lived in a manner where I've taken precautions, and I continue to do so.
His murder is the second major breach of security at the maze in 3 weeks. While some prisoners were enjoying Christmas leave, others left inside were able to conceal guns and ammunition.
I think it is a very, very serious lapse of security. I will certainly take it very seriously and look into it, but I'm not at the moment considering resignation.
Dr. Mowlam's priority is to prevent Billy Wright's murder destabilising the peace process, the very process to which Mr. Wright and the men who killed him were so implacably opposed. Howell Jones, ITN, Belfast.
Shoppers packed high streets up and down the country today in the rush to snap up a bargain as the winter sales got into full swing. Stores slashed their prices dramatically, hoping to make up for the poor pre-Christmas trade, and they weren't disappointed. Neil Connery reports.
In search of a bargain. This evening, London's Oxford Street, like many other shopping centres across Britain, was still gridlocked as the winter sales got underway. Stores had complained of slow business in the run-up to Christmas, but today's takings show shoppers may have been waiting for the sales before deciding to splash out.
The first day of the sale today, we had a queue at the front entrance of about 500, which is a lot really, and last year it was less than that. And certainly looking around the store, there are more people in at this time than there was this time last year.
In Glasgow, business was just as brisk throughout the day. Some stores were selling much of their stock at half price. As shoppers fought to snap up the best bargains, one department store in London was offering free massage and incense to help customers combat stress. But it's the retailers who are feeling the real relief. After a gloomy December, they're hoping for a cash-jingling January. Neil Connery, ITN, Central London.
Engineers are tonight still working to try to restore power supplies to thousands of homes cut off by the storms 4 days ago. And the electricity companies are warning that some may face a 5th day without power tomorrow. Adrian Beattie reports.
This is electricity company Manweb's soup kitchen. The Britannia Inn in Halkin is dishing out free food for those still without power and those trying to restore it.
We're getting to the stage now we could really be doing with something warm because, as I say, it was very, very cold.
The vast majority of Manweb's customers have been reconnected, but for some, it's day 4 without power.
Come down about 6:30 Christmas Eve, and then all the lights went out, and since then we've had no electric at all. The neighbours have been very good, because we're all electric, no gas at all, so we've had no heating, no water, nothing at all.
About 2,000 people are still without power. Manweb says they should be reconnected before midnight, but the company is expecting a flood of compensation claims.
where people have had inconvenience and they have suffered loss, then obviously we'll try and deal with all those claims sympathetically if they write to us.
The Christmas storms have gone, but forecasters say they could be back for the new year. Adrian Beattie, ITN, Wrexham.
Britain has called on the Zambian government to either release or charge the country's former president, Kenneth Kaunda. Dr. Kaunda was arrested on Christmas Day for alleged involvement in a failed coup. 2 people were killed and 30 injured when a train smashed into a car on a level crossing near Namur in Belgium. 2 of the carriages came off the rails and ploughed into a nearby house. And more than 800 illegal immigrants have been rescued from their ship off Italy after it ran aground in rough seas. Most are Kurd refugees from Iraq and Turkey. Here, Windsor Castle reopened its doors to the public for the first time since the devastating fire 5 years ago. Hundreds of people began queuing early, eager to see the royal staterooms in their former glory. Here's Lauren Taylor.
There was a steady flow of visitors into the 900-year-old Windsor Castle today, all keen to see the newly restored areas. St George's Hall was one state apartment ruined by the fire 5 years ago. Today, tourists found it hard to imagine it could ever have been damaged, attracting particular attention the entirely new oak roof.
I came after the fire and saw all the charred remains and everything. It's absolutely spectacular, and what they've done in 5 years.
We saw the fire and I wept. I was outside the castle crying, and now look at it.
I think it's much prettier now than it was even before it was so dark.
The rooms may look like the original ones, but hidden amongst all this splendour is a highly sophisticated laser-operated fire alarm system. It's been fitted throughout Windsor Castle at the cost of around £15 million. So traditional craftsmanship disguises what should protect this work for future generations. Lauren Taylor, ITN, Windsor.
Now today's sports news. Glasgow Rangers will begin 1998 in a familiar position at the top of the Scottish Premier Division. Marco Negri scored twice in their win over Dundee United to take his tally so far this season to a remarkable 33 goals. Celtic lost ground on the leaders after George O'Boyle got the only goal of the game for St Johnstone. But a goal for Jim Hamilton helped Hearts to victory over Dunfermline and takes them to second. In England, the Czech international Karol Poborski has left Manchester United to join the Portuguese side Benfica. He said he left United because he couldn't get a regular place in the team. Newcastle have gone top of the English Rugby Premiership after a thumping win over Bristol. Newcastle's Rob Andrew could even afford to miss 7 kicks at goal. Will Walden reports.
For all but 20 seconds of this game, it was quite clear who'd had the more indulgent festive season. Dave Tuetti's 85-metre sprint did put Bristol ahead early on, but Newcastle were the only team who ran riot, Gary Armstrong restoring equality shortly afterwards. The visitors led 18-8 at the break, and with the pack dominant, Newcastle's backs were given the time and the space to run in 6 second-half tries, this the best from Alan Tate. The scoreline could, however, have been worse for Bristol, but for a personal disaster from Newcastle's director of rugby, former British Lion Rob Andrew missing 7 kicks at goal. Andrew wasn't over-worried, his side's last-minute try securing 50 points, a hat-trick of scores for Armstrong and a record home defeat for Bristol. Newcastle go top. Will Walden, ITN Sport.
It's been a good day for the bookies at Chepstow, where the 25-to-1 outsider Earth Summit won the feature race, the Welsh National. The 9-year-old held off a late challenge from Dom Samurai to add the Welsh National to his triumph in the Scottish Grand National 3 years ago. The full starting prices then: first Earth Summit at 25-to-1, second Dom Samurai 12-to-1, and third Sam Lee at 7-to-1. Finally, tonight's winning national lottery numbers, they are 14, 21, 28, 31, 40 and 46. The bonus number is 9, and 3 winning tickets will share the £8.6 million jackpot. That's the news tonight. From all of us here at ITN, good night.
Hello, good evening. There are more showers around this weekend. In fact, Cardiff